Hello everybody, this is Evan with Tabletop Gaming Guild, bringing you a review for the game Balada. Balada is published by Albi Games. It's a 1 to 6 player game that takes approximately 20 minutes to play. So I'm going to take you to the tabletop here, go over a couple things about the game, and bring you back out for my final review. Alright, here we are on our setup here on the tabletop, and we're going to talk about what everything means and give you an example of play for the game Balada here. So the main thing on this for this game here is going to be these maps. So it comes with 100 of these. These are double-sided here. See the front side here, I have one tore off here for the back side. So the premise about the game is you are a bard and you are retelling the adventure of the hero that you followed. And it's going to take from the village along this path all the way to the mountain, and then onto the back side from the mountain all the way back to where you began originally. And so along that path you're going to come across a bunch of different obstacles and different other bosses and creatures that you're going to fight and princesses that you can possibly rescue, and so on. So in order to put this story together, we need to have events that will happen. So that's what happens with these cards up here. So the blue deck here, that's going to be the landscape cards, and you have events deck A and B. A is a little easier than B, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. So I'm going to slide this down a little bit here. So in the events, you're going to see the different landscapes that are going to come up, like the mountain there. There's another mountain, a desert here. So the symbols here at the bottom are going to correspond, if you look over onto the map, the different places on there. So what happens through the game is you're going to turn over a landscape card. You're also going to turn over an event from the A and the B deck. So once you turn those over, you're going to look at the landscape here, so like in the desert, and you're going to have an option to put one of these two in that location. So we'll bring this back up here. So on the landscape, we have the desert, we have a sword or 3, and I'll go over what those actually mean here in a minute. But we pick one of the desert locations, here, 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 and here, and we have to put those in one of those locations, and so on and so forth until all the landscape cards are used. So there's 4 of each of the different locations: forest, mountains, and desert. So that corresponds to exactly the same amount of landscape cards. So that's what's going to build your entire adventure there. Now, since you have choices on where you can put them on your map and where or what is going to happen in those locations, everyone's story is going to be slightly different. No two stories should ever be the same, and that's how we can tell different stories here, and how the points are going to come out to be different. You're going to total at the very end, side A and side B, and whoever has the most points total is the winner. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to talk about what these different cards do. So the sword is one of the key things in the game. So the sword lets you defeat obstacles that come up. So what's an obstacle? So you see this card here with the 3, that is an obstacle. So anything that's kind of red right here has this kind of symbol and a number up there. Those are your different obstacles, be it creatures or things along those lines that you're going to run across in the adventure. A sword will defeat that. So as we come across, we're going to notate these swords as we gather them, and we're going to use them. The numbers for the obstacles are going to also, here's another one, show you how much damage you take when you come across it. If you look here on your map, you start with 6 health. So anytime you take damage, you write that down. Anytime you take more than 6 damage, you're knocked down, and you have to retrack your health, and it'll affect your final scoring as you go along here. Another card that comes across here is the fish. Fish is just a straight up point scorer. So if you put 1, 2, or 3 fish, they'll correspond to the different points there, 1, 4, 9. So we'll flip over a couple more here. There's another sword, fish, sword. So another thing that you can run across is the key. So the key will be able to unlock the chest that you'll come across, so you get bonus points for that. Also, there's a tower in there too. A tower will help you. The key will let you unlock the tower and get you points for that. Another card that's going to be in there is going to be the fountain. Fountain will let you heal points of damage, and you can actually get points out of that. So it lets you heal up to 5 points of damage. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to shuffle everything, and I'm going to take you through a quick round of the game so you can kind of see how the flow goes, and then we'll take you up for final thoughts. Alright, so we're back. So we're going to run through a quick one side of this game here. So you can play this game on easy or hard mode. Easy mode, you just go through one side. Harder mode is you actually do both. So we start off here, everything shuffled. So we reveal our location card. Then we reveal side A and side B here. So in the desert there, we can either put a key or we can put a fish. Okay, so like I said earlier, the key lets us unlock treasure chests and also unlocks the towers for points. So it's kind of important. Also, the fish lets you get, straight up points there. Now we don't know. We're going to go through every card in A, but we don't go through every card in B. All the fish are in B, so there's no guarantee that we're going to get all the fish in there. So we have to kind of guess what are we going to get. So I think the key is going to probably be more important than us. So I think we should put that near the beginning of our adventure. So we'll draw the symbol right in there. I apologize for my drawings. I am not the most artistic there, but you get the idea of what I drew. So we check with everyone else if anyone else is playing, and then we continue on. So the next location is going to be the mountain. So we reveal there. Another fish came up. So we lost out on one, but there's another one there. We could put that in there, or we can go for the fountain. Like I said earlier, the fountain let us heal damage. So it's a good spot that we can actually put into our adventure on the thoughts that we might get some damage later on and heal it up. Also lets us go and think about if we want to put some obstacles out early in the game here. Early in our path, we might be able to heal that and not hurt us too bad. So we continue on. So the mountain again. We can put a 1 damage obstacle out there. Looks like a skeleton there. Or we can go with the sword. So in the mountain there, we got some options, but I think we're going to take the sword. The swords are actually really important in here. As I said, they can destroy the obstacles. You actually, if you don't get a key, you can actually use the sword to open a chest. There's also a boss card in there, which hopefully we'll get to, but if we don't, I'll talk about that later. That's the only way you can defeat the bosses, too. Next card here. Alright, so we got the desert. This is actually the boss card here. And then we got another fountain. So we put the fountain there, so we definitely want to look at the boss card. Now the boss card, how that works is you need 2 swords to defeat that. How we score on the boss card is how many squares are left in between the boss card and the end. So say if we put the boss here, we'd have to count, and we would get 7 points. So the earlier that we can put the boss card, the better. But, like I said, the only way that we can defeat that boss card is if we have 2 swords. So we want to look at our adventure right now that we have. We have a sword here. Nothing else out there right now. We have to put that boss card into the desert. So we can gamble and try and put it here. Or we can put it over here in the other desert spots. Options there, and if we put it over here, we're going to get less points for it. But this little symbol right here is a swap symbol. So what this means is once on this side, you can actually move a location with another location. So what that means is we would actually cross out the desert symbol here, and we're going to swap it here with this forest. So all you do is you draw the symbol here, Again, apologize for my drawing. So now this square, instead of being a forest, is now a desert, and likewise instead of a desert, that's a forest. So now we can take that desert square and put the boss here. There we go, one boss. And then we continue on. All right, so mountain, and then we got these swirlies. So what these swirlies are, they're a portal. So what they can do is you can actually put the portal in, and you can move any one of these squares into the portal square before you actually start on the adventure. So since we have to stick this into the mountain, we're going to stick it right here. So desert here. So it looks like we're going to have to fight something here. So a 2 or a 1. So what we're going to do, we're going to stick the 2 right here. We'll go a little adventurous with that. So we got the mountain, so this is the tower, and there's the chest. So we have to stick that one of those into the mountain square. Only have one mountain square left, so it's that one up here. So what are we going to stick in there? So the chest, if you have the key, it'll straight up give you points equal to how many squares are in between the key and the chest. The tower, what that'll do is, if you have a key, when you get to the tower, you get 2 points. And it also helps with the princess. So the princess will let you score points based off of the challenges in between here. And these are the challenges, the creatures that will do damage. The tower also, you have to be careful when you put it next to a challenge. It actually increases challenges on both sides by 1. So if you had a 2 there, it now becomes a 3, a 1 becomes a 2, and so on. Biggest obstacle that's in this game is a 5, so that'll actually move it to a 6. So with those two, seeing that we have a chest that has to go in the last square, and we have the key all the way here, I say that that's probably going to be a good one to put right there. So let's continue filling out this here. So in the desert, we have a 2 or a 4 to put. So only desert square we have right here. So we have a 2 there. We know that we could take 6 damage. Our healing's early, which looks like that may not have been the best choice there, but we didn't know. So instead of taking that 4, let's take the 2 here, just in case if we have to, are not able to fight it, because we only have that 1 sword right now, we don't cross that 6 damage threshold. Alright, so there's a forest, and then a sword and a 3 obstacle. Well, we have this here, boss, so we need 2 swords. So we have to go into one of these 4 forest. We should probably put it early so we can have a shot at taking out that boss. So let's stick it here so we can guarantee we have the 2 to go there. Alright. So we can get another sword, or we can go with a heart. I say we put the heart right here, because that way, if we do take the damage here from these guys, we can heal it right away. Alright, so we have a heart and the fish. So all we have left is these 2 over here in the beginning. Healing with no damage is not really going to help us out. So let's take that fish and at least get us some points out of it. And then the last square we got is going to be a sword and that 2. I say we put the sword here. I'll explain why here in a minute. So let's take our cards and move these out of the way. So we have these couple here B cards that didn't get used. So there's going to be a couple of those left that aren't going to be used in every game. So we're just going to take them and put them out of the way. Now we're going to follow the adventures of Sir Evan the Mediocre. So as Sir Evan the Mediocre here leaves town, he gathers a sword. So what we do, we circle that. He goes fishing, so we cross that off there, so we know we're going to get at least 1 point out of that. Continue up into the mountains, we get a second sword, followed by the key. So the key, they don't really give you a thing, I just kind of draw it in there. So we continue into, remember this is not a desert anymore, we move that to a forest because of our ability here, which we should have crossed that off when we used it. We get another sword, so we're up to 3 swords. And we managed to find a boss. So we're going to use the swords to get the boss. Now we count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We get 6 points for the boss, so we put that here. We get to the healing fountain here after fighting the boss. We don't have any damage to heal up, so nothing there. This was the portal square that we could move anything that we wanted, and we didn't have anything. I didn't really talk about moving it, but there was nothing that we really put out there that was able to move to help us. So now we come across our first obstacle here. It was a creature that does 2 damage. So you can use a sword to defeat it. So we defeat that. So that's going to give us 2 points. We'll just keep track of that in our head for right now. We come across a second creature of 2 value. Now we don't have any more swords left, so we have to take that damage. So we take the damage here. But we come across this fountain that'll heal up to 5 damage. So we cross that damage off. We're back to health, full health. We heal 2, so we write it here because any damage that you heal, you get back. And then our next square is going to be the chest, so I'm going to write in the damage or the creature that we defeated. Any creatures you defeat by using a sword, you get those points. So we get that there. So next is going to be the chest. So we count up how many squares are in between the key and the chest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We get 7 points. So we didn't have a tower and we didn't have a princess on this one. So now we count up our points. So we got 7 plus 6 is 13, 15, 17, 18 points. And we put that here. So what we would do at this point is our adventure here has made it to the top of the mountain. We would normally now flip over to the backside and we would actually repeat with the cards the adventure back. The only thing that's different is on the back, any damage that we have unhealed would come with us. Any swords we didn't use would also come with us too. We would also get a new swap for the adventure or for the location type. And then we would just continue on and repeat that entire adventure again. So once that was done, you would actually take your score from this side, add it to this side, and whoever has the most adventure points would be the winner. So let's take you up from the tabletop now, give you my final thoughts of the game. So my final thoughts on Balada here. I actually really like the game. It's a real simple game. Once you learn exactly what the cards do, the game flies by. It's just really kind of taking a look, where can I put stuff, what's going to make the most sense, and how can I kind of hopefully chain things together that's going to get you maximum amount of points as you go along. There's a couple other cards that I didn't go over that's going to score you a few extra points a couple different ways, but I won't go into that right now. The rule book isn't laid out the best, so it takes kind of flubbing through it just a little bit to kind of get the flow and kind of really understand how everything goes together. But once you kind of get into it, it's not too bad. It's only 4 pages overall, so you're not going to get too far into it, too far into the weeds with it. Now, one thing I will say is the maps, you get 100 of them on these. One thing, anytime it's a raid adventure like this, I always have said, instead of giving me a pad, just laminate a couple of these and give me a dry erase marker. I feel tons better about it if you would do that as opposed to a pad. I've never been a fan of the pads, but it's just a minor quibble on my part. Overall, the game's fun. It's pretty good. I played this with my wife and my 12-year-old. He picked up on it fairly well, and we enjoyed it. We really, really did. But that's my thought here on Balada. If you like the content that you see, definitely subscribe. Give us the likes on Facebook, on Instagram, on the YouTube here. Comment what things that you want to see. If you've played this game or others like it, tell us what you think about it. And definitely hit the subscribe button. Let us know what we're doing good and how we can keep bringing you great content. Until next time, this is Evan from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and we will see you later.